Hey everyone, it's Will, Gamer Dad, with another video for you. So first off, I'd like to give a shout out to one of my Patreon supporters, Seamus Yoder. Thanks for your support. Now in tonight's episode of Should You Summon, we will discuss the newest banners that's available as of tonight's update, which is of course 2.13.200, and of course that one features the main banner unit, which is a Jet Tactician Shion, or Ultra Shion, or Perfect Shion, or whatever you want to call him. But that being said, there are a couple of banners, both Fatefuls and regular, so we'll go over them one at a time. If you haven't already, make sure you like and subscribe to my channel, I really appreciate it. I also do have a Patreon account for those who want to support me this way. So let's get right into it with the Fateful Encounter Magic Force Summer 22 special. And just like hinted in yesterday's banner notes, we do have the chances of this Fateful to have 10% chance on the last pull for each of the 5 units. So keep in mind that this is only uprated on the last pull, and so you will only be able to pull one of the 5 as uprated, although if you're very fortunate, you can pull them on pulls 1 to 9, either in their 4.5 form or straight out as their 5-star form. So of course the 5 being featured are Ultra Shion, Flamelopus, Eva, Negi ES, as well as Chio AS. So obviously Magic Zone all around here, multi-powerful magic type units. 3 of them are extremely powerful water magic units. Of course, Shion is our newest Magic Zone setter, and AS Chio is our older but still very viable Magic Zone setter as well. And of course, being that this is a new banner, it will cover all the newest units up to now because this is a Fateful and it's paid. You can just go down the list. Obviously, the Orleas, the ES Muse, etc. are all here. And unfortunately, if you get all the way down, you will still see those bots, Rainbow Sisters and Knights. Okay, so keep in mind that you can only do it once. And so, I mean, if you've watched this channel for any length of time, you'll know how I rave on and on and on about Flamelopus and Eva, which are the far 2 on the left. You've seen them both in action. They complement each other. They are extremely powerful even on their own, and when used together either in a water zone or magic zone or whatever zone, they blow things out of the water. Neptunes just clear everything. Astro Drago clears everything else. If you really need other things, they each have dual debuff 30-30. They can give themselves mental focus, blah, 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 blah. List goes on and on and on. I don't really have to talk too much about them. Extremely powerful, highly sought after. AS Chio is still very much used. I use it all the time. Sets Horai Jewel, which is preemptive pain and poison. Mental focus for everyone. Can guarantee crits for your magic team. Herself, Hariki Conquest, can do tremendous amounts of earth magic DPS. Yeah, really, really good. Now, ES Negi, I haven't had that much experience with her, even though I have her at 255, as you all know. Well, Mac indeed. However, as a CSR's setter, she is still quite potent in her own right, and she can very much complement other type of magic users, especially if you're using water magic, being that she also has both capabilities with crystal and magic. And finally, Ultra Shion. Now, I did talk about him a little bit yesterday, but let's go right into it. Our newest Magic Zone setter. He's the only one that can do a Magic Zone within a move. So remember that means that you can 1-turn AF with Magic Zone. He can give, just like other Magic Zone setters, he can give mental focus to everybody, which is great. He can do massive amounts of damage if the enemy is weak to his attack, which is a fire type magic. And he does have end of turn boost as well, which I didn't mention yesterday. It is depending on the number of magic moves done during that turn, it boosts from 15% each move up to 60%. So keep in mind that is stackable with other things like, for example, type bonus or, weapon damage bonus, like AS Rosetta, for example, has stuff like that. So you can get a lot of different zone setters for magic coming together, and they will all complement each other if you so choose. Not only that, Ultra Shion is the only magic user that I can think of that can lock in zone with another zone. And so again, for those who are using alter units, you'll know that locking in zone doubles the damage from a zone. So in the case of a magic zone, it becomes from 30 to 60%. However, at the end of 2 turns, it will vaporize and you'll have to reset zone, which is no problem because he does have his own preemptive move that sets magic zone and also applies break. Now, one last thing I will say about him, other than the fact that he does tons and tons of damage against weakness, you have to exploit that weakness. And how better to exploit that weakness with his basic move that he has 1 charge at the beginning of any battle. It swaps any resistance to weakness and any weakness to resistance. And so depending on what kind of fights you are up against, if they are resistant to your element, guess what? You can switch it if they were resistant to it and it becomes weak. And so you can really exploit that. You can put them as a support to change over weaknesses and resistances of other type teams. And even though he might not be doing damage because if you're using it in, for example, other elemental zones or whatnot, you can just use your other DPS to blow it out of the water. And keep in mind, like I said, he can still awaken zone and still do other things like that. Unfortunately, he doesn't have any heal that I can see. But you know what? You're probably winning in 1 or 2 turns with him anyways. So, back to this banner. It's not a Star Dream, I understand. However, for a Faithful, not bad. You really do want Eva, Flam, and Ultra Shion in any form if you can. I mean, you can farm technically for AS Chio, and ES Negi is still pretty good, although not nearly as valuable as the first 3. I would give this banner a great value for summoning if you want to spend paid stones and you don't have the units I've mentioned. Now, if you're only chasing Ultra Shion, I mean, I guess you get the other 4 as a bonus, being that most Faithfuls, you only get a 10% flat chance on pull 10 anyways. And so, if you really want to chase it that way, you do have 1 shot to get that. Keep in mind, let's just take a look here. You also have the normal, I guess, paid banner as well. This is a 2 times max Faithful, and this is a standard one for him, where you get 10% uprated on the 10th pull, pulls 1 to 9, nothing. And keep in mind that Ultra Shion is not quite the same as normal style Shion, and so you do not get an uprated on 4.5 star normal Shion. For those newer to the game, normal style Shion can be side graded to Ultra Shion with the ability, with the 3 opuses that you can get. They're pretty hard drop, it's pretty rare. 0.1% chance in any reward slot using mostly red keys, not farmable using green keys. So pretty tough pulls that way. However, in my experience, it will still take around 3 to 6 months on average to get enough opuses to side grade. Same thing as before, you do have all the units in here, and of course bots, Rainbow Sisters, and Knights. And so same thing, if you're chasing Ultra Shion and you really want to use the Faithfuls, I mean, that is your prerogative for sure. They do have that there. Okay, and for the first of 2 free banners, so you can see that Ultra Shion is also there, we'll go with this one first, which was mentioned in the patch notes yesterday. So, for free players, including ourselves, you get a 1% uprate for 4 different units featured in this banner, which is AS Shigeri, AS Sakia, AS Kikyo, and AS Tsubame. Now, again, you do have Orlea and Flam and Eva in here. However, you don't have the absolute newest unit out there. Remember that free banners are usually about 2 banners behind, most paid banners. Now, that being said, this one is pretty good for a free banner, actually. Of all the units, I would say AS Shigeri will probably be the worst, and even so, for newer players or moderate players, not even bad. He is a water zone setter. He can stack a pretty high damage, and if you get enough moves done the turn before, he can get up to 7 stacks, which gives you, I think it's 70% increased type attack for all your units for 1 turn. So he can really boost things up after an AF, for example, when you got a lot of hits in. He himself is no slouch when it comes to DPS, and he is a water zone setter, which some of you may not have at this point in the game. And he would be considered the weakest of the 4, in my opinion. AS Tsubame, what else is to say about her? She's about a year old. Still front line for me on my Earth Blunt DPS teams. Got a dual debuff, 35-35. Got tremendous power in AF. Has the ability to boost herself, speed, and power. I mean, yeah, I don't even know what else to say. Very, very capable unit in its own right. AS Sakia, Still a very powerful wind pierce zone setter. Can do tremendous amount of damage, especially in adversity mode. In wind zones, she's not nearly as powerful. However, in pierce zones, especially when specialized, she herself can do 1 HP stopper at a time. I've used her to beat dual Hachios and other tough content in the game. And finally, AS Kikyo. We all know the power of the Vroom Vroom motorcycle. Her Pale Rider is really unsurpassed in terms of massive amounts of slash wind DPS. You've probably seen me use her on my wind slash teams. Again, really, really powerful. So, I mean, the fact that all of these are still considered meta, in my opinion, and Shigeru, like I said, would be lesser so. If you don't have at least 2 of them, and you have some spare stones as a free player, you should summon on this banner. You still get a slightly uprated banner. Instead of 3.6% for a 5-star, you get a 4% chance. Downside is no exposure to other 5-stars. So a lot of times we talk about spook pulls or off-banner pulls. You won't get them with this banner. However, the value of those 4 units, in my opinion, is well worth the risk. And keep in mind, you can still get 4.5s of the Flams, the Evas, and other units that you may need, like Melissa and so on and so forth. Very, very good. And finally, the last banner of the night, Alter Shion by himself. So this one for free and paid players, not bad. Shion normal style is 4.5, is at 0.4%, 0.8% for the 5-star version of normal style, and of course Ultra Shion is also 0.8%. So this is a full 2% up rate for any form of Shion. And like I said earlier in the video, you can definitely side grade 4.5 normal style Shion to Ultra Shion if you get the 3 opuses. Again, for those who don't have any form of Shion, this is a must summon. If you don't have any form of Shion and you want exposure to this kind of broken type of unit, must summon. Now keep in mind that Shion is super old, and if you're playing for any extended length of time, you probably have him in any form, in which case, do not summon on this banner. There are much more different, well, there are a lot of different powerful units coming up, and we are having to really save up and spare stones on banners we don't absolutely need in order to move forward and save for those mega units in the future. But like I said, if you're newer to the game and you still have a lot of stones to grind, keep in mind that a lot of you who have been playing less than a year probably still have content you haven't beaten. You'll probably have stones that you can earn along the way, and you don't have a Shion. Hey, you can show me how to use Ultra Shion, because it's going to take me a while to grind out those opuses, in which case, like I said, broken Magic Zone unit exploits weakness and can swap Uno reverse card on weakness and resist. No other unit can do that, and you really want to have something like that on your team to really make use of that. As for myself, in all these banners, first of all, Faithfuls I don't do, of course, being that I'm a free player. I do have Shion in 5-star normal style, and so I will be grinding those opuses. As for the Eastern Forced banner, I have all 4 units already, and so I will not need to summon for this banner. But let me know in the comments below how you've done on your summons, if you're planning to summon on this one, or if you're saving up for the future units. There are a lot of interesting ones coming up in the next little while, if you've been following along with Japan's releases. Anyways, after this video, I'll be back to the action, hopefully conquering a few more of those Awaken Azami fights. And if I don't finish tonight, I'll be hopefully done by tomorrow and able to review AS Azami's abilities by the weekend. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.